July 20th, 2026. Hope you're doing well today. We're going to look at the NASDAQ and see how the momentum played out today. And then we're also going to look at Palantir. And I took a trade in Palantir today, but I didn't take a trade in NASDAQ. And that's because we didn't have a clear momentum alignment. We're going to get into that. So here we are on July 20th right here. And you can see we're under the 20 and we're under the 50 moving averages. Still have bearish momentum. And we are seeing a building in volume over the past 6 market days. Not today, but the past 6 market days has been definitely an increase in volume, which means that this is not going up anytime soon. We have a definite bias towards the downside, which when I say definite bias, I really do mean like a 60-40. It's not like a 90-10 or anything like that. It's just that tomorrow, the following day, until the status quo changes, we've got a bias to shorts, and that's obvious just visually when you look at it. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to look at a 5-minute execution time frame right here, 5-minute. We're not going to do a 2-minute or a 1-minute or anything like that. We're going to just do a 5-minute execution time frame, and we're going to wait for the first hour to conclude of the market. We're not going to trade the first hour, and we're not going to trade the last hour. We're just going to look at that middle section of the market when things are a little bit more calm, and we're just going to see if we had any alignments today. We'll start right here at market open. Market opens, and we're opening at the previous day's high last Friday and the pre-market high. We're coming right up into pre-market high. First candle of the day, first 5 minutes, breaks through both of them. Comes up, finds a top, comes back down, breaks through that low of that first candle. And look at what happens the rest of the day. We have a heavy selling day. The selling algorithms are going hard today. And you know, again, going back before today even happened, when we're going into the market, what were we expecting? We were expecting, yeah, we've got downward bias. Look at the momentum for the previous market day. So that's good. When the day unfolds, we're hoping for those to manifest, but they don't always have to. We're open to do anything. So to take the trade, we want the 1-hour momentum and the 15-minute momentum and the 5-minute momentum. We want those to be aligned. So let's see if we can find where that happens today. The market opens with the 1-hour momentum in the green. So we want to wait for that to align with a 15-minute in the green. And then we want to see how that price interacts with this fair value yellow EMA line. When all of those are happening, we have a trade set up right there. So let's go forward. What do we have? By the time we come down from this first initial move, remember we're not trading the first hour of the market. By the time we come down to the first hour, which is right here, the first hour has now concluded. Our 15 is now in the red, so we're not even taking trades because this is in the green, this is in the red. Those aren't aligned. We want them to be aligned. When does that happen? It happens right here. Now the 15 is in the green. Now they're both in the green. So what does the 5 look like? Well, if we wait for the 5 to come back to this fair value line, this 80, on the 5-minute chart it's a 17 EMA. We want it to retrace back to the 17, and it does right here. And then we get a green candle, but we don't get any momentum flipping in our direction. The momentum continues to the downside. Had the momentum started to flip to the upside right here, that would have been your entry. That would have been a trade. That did not happen. There was no trade. No trade occurred. As we move forward in time, the 15 is back in the red now, so we've got no opportunity to trade. We need them to be going the same direction. The 1-hour and the 15-minute, we want those to be going in the same direction, and that happens right here at the last hour. It starts to occur. Now this is finally flipping in. 15 is going hard to the downside, building momentum. And this is where you could take a trade if you wanted to, but it wouldn't be near a fair value. It wouldn't be near this 17 EMA, so it's definitely risky, and I don't advise it. But you would enter on a momentum realignment, which happens right here on this 2:05 p.m. market time. Why is it a realignment? Because the momentum is pulling against us, going up. That's going against us. Everything is going down, right? So we want to be going down. This goes up, and we finally realigned to the downside right here on this next one. That's your entry. That's where you enter the position. and then your stop loss goes at the top of that candle, or a roughly ATR, 1 ATR, whatever the current ATR is. So your stop loss goes here, and you target a 1-to-1. And notice how it was almost a win, it was almost a loss. We don't really know. Look how close that was. Look at that. It's kind of a win and a loss because it came back, it still didn't hit the stop loss up here, and then it actually followed through to hit the profit target. So that was a win right there. So that was the only win for today, and it wasn't even a safe trade because why? We were far away from the fair value line, which is the 17 EMA. So that was a trade at 205 on a 5-minute chart, and that was a win. Technically, yes, that was a win. But what time is it at this time where this happened? Let's see. That was in the last hour of the day. That was right at the last hour. And I was saying we don't trade the first hour, don't trade the last hour. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm ignoring the last hour of the market. I'm ignoring the first hour of the market. So technically I would have skipped that trade. And would have been a win nonetheless, but we wouldn't have taken it. So there was no trades in NASDAQ today. Let's go over to Palantir. There was a lot of opportunities in Palantir. Why? Because our 1 hour we opened the market with this huge run up. First of all, a lot of buying. And then we come right up to previous day's high. And then we cool off and we fall back to this VWAP and the 17 EMA. After this run up to the previous day's high, we come down, we consolidate on this fair value line with VWAP, and then we break through VWAP. Look at this point in time right here. Our 5-minute is breaking to the upside with volume. We break through VWAP. 15 is not building with us yet, but the 1 hour and the 15 are aligned. It's just a weaker alignment. And then we have a cooling off period and a realignment. This was the trade I took right here today at 10:55. Why did I take this trade? Because the 15 had been holding its momentum for long enough to where I was comfortable now. It wasn't like continuing to sell off like this. That's not good. It was actually holding. So because of that, my confidence grew, and it was a good trade right there. It was only a 10-minute trade or so with a 1-to-1. There was other opportunities today that happened as well. Look at this realignment. 15, it is selling off, but it's still a healthy level, but it is selling off. The 1 hour is completely built. It's just unbroken, and it's going hard. And then look what happens here. We have a selling off in the momentum, cooling down, compression period, and then a realignment to the upside right here on what? A massive volume spike. So this is where you get those opportunities to hit big runners, because why? You're at the beginning of the momentum impulse. You're at the very beginning of the momentum expansion right here. Very beginning. Who knows how many more expansion bars you're going to get, right? You're in the beginning. You haven't punctured through. You haven't confirmed over the 17 EMA yet. So, because of this, it's not even a trade you should technically take according to this current strategy I'm trading. You should wait until you get a candle that actually confirms above, or even bounces off of, like that. So technically all three of these were good, valuable entries, and they all would have been wins. But regardless, that was Palantir's price action today. So moral of the story is, whenever Palantir or NASDAQ is acting boring, there's always these other big players that are going to be producing price action that you can read and play off of. So with that being said, that was July 20th, 2026. I will see you in the next one. Take care now.